Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another eyeshadow palette video. So this is going to be 10 eyeshadow palettes for winter, or the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to be using a lot this winter. So I like to do these videos every season. I don't think makeup has to be seasonal. I think you can wear cool makeup in the summer and warm makeup in the winter. And I do do that, but I do think it's, a lot of people do have seasonal changes in the way they do their makeup, the colors they want to wear, all of that. And this is a fun video that's not just new palettes, like some of these are kind of new. A lot of these are older though, and it's a way of, oh yeah, I haven't used that palette in a while, let me grab that and actually use it now that the weather's changed and I'm going to be in the mood for it again. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup, with a definite soft spot for indie makeup and high-end makeup, which you'll see both of today. And I tend to take a pretty analytical approach to the content I make, be it reviewing a new product or talking about things I already know and love, like today. And I have new videos every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so I just filmed another video that will be going up before this. This is probably going to be my first video of 2024, so welcome. Very excited for this year. I do have a bunch of fun things planned, and then, you know, the standard, when certain things like Nomad palettes come out, I will be reviewing those and so on, but I have a lot of other stuff I want to do this year too. Also at the end of this month, because it is technically still December when I'm filming this, I've hit 2,000 subscribers, so once again, thank you so much. I already talked about it in another video, and I have a dedicated video coming up soon, maybe my next one, but I just want to once again say thank you to everyone that subscribed. It really means a lot. It's very valid. It just means a lot. It's validating, but it's also, it's encouraging. It feels really good to finally hit that milestone and like be in progression towards the next one. If you didn't see this video where I did this look, I will have it in the cards, but also just to recap a couple things. These are new earrings that I just had for Christmas. These were from my partner. They're little Ponyo jellyfish. They're very cute. I love them. I did post about that on my Instagram story. If you follow me there, you would have seen that. And then my face is a lot of really high-end stuff. It's my Lisa Eldridge highlighter, Victoria Beckham bronzer, the Finding Ferdinand khaki blush, Lisa Eldridge eyeliner, and then my eyeshadow is the eyeliner, and then 2 shades from the Seeking Shifts and Shine by SD collab. So I wanted to do Ice Blink all over the eye, and it was in a build your own palette. And so I just saw this iridescent here and was like, well, that's Ice Blink. And started putting it on, I was like, wait, this is really yellow, and remember, that is nacre. And so this is nacre and Ice Blink layered together, which is really pretty and very happy accident, but was very stressful while filming. Okay, so like I said, this is gonna be 10 palettes for winter. I definitely wear cool tones all year, I wear warm tones all year, but these are kind of the colors that I'm drawn to right now, a little bit more. So this is also a reminder for myself of things that I want to be using right now. It's winter, I'm in Seattle, it's cold, it's gray, it's dark at like 3 o'clock. I'm just in that mood where I want to wear darker tones, smokier tones, cool tones to kind of go with the murky, damp gray outside. But I also like to wear sparkly things to kind of counterbalance that. I'll have everything linked in the description box as well, what I'm wearing and all of these products if they're available, so you can get them. But this is not about buying products or a list of things that you should go buy. This is mostly just a, let's talk about eyeshadow palettes, and maybe you own these and you should pull them out. But if you do use my affiliate links for anything, as always, thank you so much. It really helps, you know, it helps me buy the stuff that I review for this palette, or for this channel. This palette. Okay, so let's get into this. I do want to do an honorable mention. So I picked 10 palettes the other day, like a while ago. I've had them just sitting here with no time to film because of Christmas and other stuff. But I did want to give a mention to to the new Gourmand Girls palette. This is the Silent Night palette. It's another one they did with Doodles by the Bunny. I don't love the outside. I think it's really big. I mean, the cardboard is nice, but I think this, I don't really like the design of the outside, but the inside, what actually matters, is really beautiful and is a very fun winter palette. You've got some cool neutrals, you've got a couple dark blues, you've got some blue shimmers. These are both sparkly shades that shift different colors. You've got a really nice iridescent like purpley blue down here. So this is a fun palette. I did do a video on this recently, but because I haven't used it that much, I didn't want to include it in here. I've only used it, I think, twice, maybe 3 times. So it's an honorable mention, but I think at least one of the products in this stack, maybe 2 of them, are no longer available. And this is, and I do have an affiliate code with Gourmand Girls. It's just bones, like my Nomad one, and it saves 10%. Okay, so the first palette that I am gonna be grabbing for a lot, and I've already started to, used it a little bit this summer, a little bit this fall, but like late fall into winter is when I'm starting to grab this more, especially for work, and it's going to be in Isamaya's Industrial 1.0. It's the original one, now that there's a 2. I almost included the 2 here because it's very sparkly. I could have done this kind of a look with it. So if you want a lot of bright colors for winter, 2 is a good one, but this is muted, murky. There's like, everything's a little desaturated, so there is like a bright neon here, there's a bright copper, but even the copper is not like shiny copper like a Pat McGrath copper. There's a little bit of a mutedness to it. Everything here is very watercolory and blends together, and it's just a very fun palette to use, and I can get kind of a smoky gray green taupe shade look by mixing a bunch of these really easily, which is a go-to for me. So really excited that the weather's turned, and these are kind of tones that I'm drawn to all year, but when it's like 100 degrees outside, I don't want to wear any eyeshadow, let alone a bunch of these. So that's definitely where my mood shifts. Okay, next is a very obvious choice, and one that will probably be in a lot of people's videos like this, and it's the Christmas Eve palette from Oden's Cosmetics. This came out last year. They did a restock this year, which sold out pretty quickly, I think. I did a ranking of all my Oden's Eye palettes earlier this month. You should go check that out if you haven't seen it. I did buy all of my Oden's Eye palettes. I'm not on their PR list. This is, spoiler alert, my favorite palette they've ever done. It's just the perfect mix of blues without being too blue. You've got this really interesting taupe shade here. You've got some more gold shades. You've got some green and olive tones here. I think it's a really good mix. I don't have issues with any of these shadows. And if some people have issues with Oden's Eye quality, I think it's interesting. Some people have had no issues, like me. I've had like maybe 2 shadows go bad. And then some people seem to have horrible luck with them. I don't know what that is, but I really love this. I have had 0 issues with this. I think this is one of their best formulas and best color stories. And I'm very happy they brought it back for people. Although I don't know if it would live up to the hype after waiting for it for a year, but I do really love this, and I'm excited to use this more. The next 2 palettes are both fairly new, but I've fallen head over heels for them. And I'm just gonna mention them both at the same time, and it is the new Viseart holiday palette. So the Violette Vespertine and the Cashmere Charmeuse. I love these. These have become go-to palettes for me. Really, really enjoy the Viseart formula in general. The mattes are pigmented, but build nicely. So they're not as pigmented as like maybe Pat McGrath or Melt or something like that, but you still get a good amount of pigment, and they blend and layer really nicely. They build nicely if you need them to. Their shimmers aren't this for sure, but they do have some shifts. They do have some sparkle. They're just a really good, reliable, everyday kind of formula for me. And I love this. This is taupe with a little bit of rosiness to it. You've got this really pretty duochrome right here. I just love this. I've used this a lot lately. And then the Violette Vespertine is much more muted and desaturated than Violette, and I really enjoy that. We've got a really beautiful kind of wine shade here. You've got a purple, but it's like, it's not purple like the ones in Violette. And then you've got some more mauve tones to ground everything. I really like, I've become very drawn to desaturated tones this year and much less about bright poppy colors than I used to be. And so these were, of course, something I had to grab. Speaking of brighter poppy tones, something that I do want to use more this winter is my Glaminatrix Nocturnal Palette. So this, I believe, has been discontinued. She did have to reformulate it because some of the shades kept breaking. And I think you can buy some of them as singles or maybe all of them. But I love this. You can see it's much more vibrant. You've got some bright pops of green, blue, and then you've got a softer blue. You've got this really dark purple, which I love. And then you've got these, you know, neutrals for me. You've got like golden, kind of mustardy tones. I love this. You can go colorful if you want. You can stick neutral if you want. And the shimmers in here are so pretty. I think Milky Way and Constellation are my two favorites. You can see they're the most messed up because I've used them the most. But you can see there's the really beautiful like peach, blue, gold shifts in this one. This one is, I'm looking at it, looks just straight up bronze, but when I hold it this way, it looks more coppery orange. You've got a really beautiful purple, a really beautiful green shifty shade, and then this really pretty blue purple shifty shade. So you've got like all my favorite colorful tones, but it's, again, it's a little more desaturated than a lot of other stuff, but you still got some pops. It's just a really nice palette. I really like the Glaminatrix formula. I have some singles from them, then I have this, and then I have the Nearly Natural palette, and I wish I had more, but they're expensive, and then they ship from Australia, so they're even more expensive. Okay, so next is gonna be my ultimate cool tone palette. Even more than those Viseart or the Isamaya. Well, this is kind of neutral to me. Pat McGrath, #1 Subliminal. This is second place / tied for, you know, my favorite motherships. And it's just like the perfect cool tone palette. Nothing else has ever done it as good as this. I do want to buy Lisa Eldridge Vega when it restocks. And I did talk to Lisa Eldridge and she said it would be soon. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. That's a little smaller, easier to travel with. I don't want to travel with this. This is heavy and giant, but you've got a really nice taupe, a darker taupe, a black. These are cool without being like ashy. I mean, like, I like a little bit of like sooty ashiness that comes in something like this, but I don't want it to look like I just put, you know, ash on my eyes necessarily. I mean, some looks maybe, but these are just the perfect amount of coolness to them. Really love these more satin shades for a quick wash of color. They're not super sparkly, they're not really metallic, but I still really like them for an everyday look. And then if you want them to be more sparkly, you can add one of the special shades. I just really love this. It's always in the front of my motherships, which I have all but 2 of now. And I just think one of the best color stories she's ever done. Okay, stepping back into the more colorful side of things, but again, desaturated color, had to go with Ghost Town USA from Nomad. So in the past, I might have done Haunted Europe, which I do really like, but I feel like half of it's fall, half of it's winter, and that was discontinued. And this is kind of its spiritual successor in my mind, but I like it more. I just think this is the best thing they did this year and one of the best things they've ever done. You've got a really desaturated green row, you've got a really muted dark blues, you've got these neutrals, and then the shimmers, you've got blue, you've got green. This is kind of a gray blue. This is a little bit more icy blue. You've got some neutrals, you've got a copper, you've got this really interesting, this is the shade Garnet Montana. I don't really know how to describe this. I don't have another shade like this. It's kind of like a blackened copper, but there's some purple there too. It's really interesting. I love this. I do have a discount code with Nomad. This is the only palette here that I got in PR. And it is, except for the Gourmand girls, but it's also Bones. It's not affiliated. I don't earn money. It's just to save you money. But I really love this. It's been one of my most used in the last few months since it came out. Okay, 3 palettes left, and 2 of them are definitely, they're all on the more expensive side actually. So next is going to be one of my only ABH palettes, and it's Rose Metals. I think a lot of people love this and a lot of people hated it. I have mixed feelings about ABH as a brand. I don't like most of their products that I'm not drawn to most of it, but I was very much drawn to this, and I had a gift card, so it was a win-win. Really, really enjoy this. So it's kind of 90s themed, which is something I always enjoy. Again, desaturated tones. So you've got some like clay tones here, but they're not as bright and poppy. They're not like the Horse Girl shades from Trixie's palette that are really like punchy terracottas. These are like desaturated terracottas. Some like, this is a nice taupe. This is a nice kind of mauve tone. And then a lot of the shimmers have a little bit of green to them, so they work really well with my olive undertone. So Heavenly, Haze, and Nova are all very green. And then Nocturne is this really nice smoky taupe, but there's just a hint of green in there as well. So if you have an olive undertone, this is just a really nice smoky palette because these shades just work really well with that undertone. Even the like more copper shades just work well. So this had to be here. I'm very excited to use this more. I haven't used it in a while. I used it at the beginning of the year and last winter, and I'm excited to pull this out. 2 palettes left, and they are also on the higher end of the spectrum. I've got a handful of indie things here, but I do really like my high-end eyeshadows. So next is gonna be Natasha Denona, I Need a Nude. So this is a really nice kind of rosy taupe neutral again, but a little less smoky than the Cashmere. This is not that smoky. You do have filigree that you can do a nice smoky taupe look with, kind of browny taupe, and you can use Silhouette and like Tender. Silhouette is not as dark as it looks here because it's a cream to powder. So this doesn't get as smoky, so if this was too smoky for you, this would be nice. Plus you've got a couple of these more, you've got a peach, you've got a rosy shade here, you've got a pink, and this just has a bunch of those wet effect, like soft, sparkly shimmers that I like to wear every day. You know, very reminiscent of something like this or this, and I just really love them. And then you've got a couple more, you know, traditional foiled sparkly shades like Filigree and Muse and Delilah that I just really love. So this had to be here. I've been using this since I got it, but I'm just very drawn to this right now, so it had to be included. And then last is gonna be another Pat McGrath palette, and this is Moonlit Seduction. So this is last year's mothership. Sunlit Seduction came out this year, which is warm neutral. And this is her other cool palette. I would say Divine Rose 1 is neutral to cool mauve tones. And then this is, you know, and then this is like fully cool tone. And then this is, again, neutral to cool. So you've got a nice plum shade. You've got kind of a neutrally rosy brown. Got a nice charcoal shade here. You've got a bronze and this like kind of gray taupe metallic. So if you want just a standard metallic, these are really beautiful. You can do a really beautiful smoky eye with this. It's one of my most used shades in the palette. And then the special shades in this are really beautiful. So you've got this rose gold. You've got kind of a lilac-y silver. This is another shade I contemplated for this look. Would be a really great New Year's look, just throwing this all over the lid. You've got a really pretty gold. She has gold in everything, but this one's a little more textured and sparkly. And then this is a multi-chrome. It's not the most original. It's that like burgundy black base with the, you know, the green blue shift, but it's really pretty and really nice to have in this formula. And with this palette, I think it just works really well. So really love this. I think this is a highly underrated palette from Pat, and I had to include it. I'm gonna be using that a lot. Almost knocked everything over and my heart stopped for a second. Okay, so that is my 10 palettes. Let me know what you think of the picks. What are you gonna be grabbing for this winter? I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially if you don't have a YouTube channel. What are the things you're gonna be using the most or are starting to use the most now that the weather is shifting, if you live somewhere where the weather shifts? Yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.